Hey everybody, it's another day of 31 days of witchcraft, or rather another 3 days of 31 days of witchcraft. I am here today to answer the prompts of 7 through 9. You can find timestamps in the description below if you'd like to skip around. I also have the link to Heather Carter's first video where she shares the prompts with you. If you're taking part, I would love to check out your channel, get to know you a little better. So please be sure to leave a comment below. And let's dive in. Day 7, the question is, do you work with a specific animal spirit? If so, which animal and why? Because I am a little bit more in the pagan category than the witch category, definitely not Wiccan. I identify mostly as a shamanic practitioner. So in shamanism, we work with animal guides pretty regular, and we're not limited to just one. So I have a whole host of animals that I work with. My primary animals are a female white-tailed deer and a red-tailed fox. Those are my go-tos, at least in this moment. But I also have a specific animal for extractions, a specific one to help me with soul retrievals. I have one to aid me in traveling to the upper world. I do think that amongst my team there is probably also a rabbit and a hedgehog, but right now they're not active in my practice. But I suspect they're there because those are animals that have followed me throughout my life in the current reality, in ordinary reality. They keep popping up. I keep getting gifts with them or drawn to things with them on it. So I suspect there is a deeper meaning to that. And when I'm in need of their medicine or their guidance that they have, I'm sure they will come forward. But right now, they haven't chosen to do that just yet. And on that topic of shamanism and paganism, question 8 is, do you refer to yourself as a witch? And I do sometimes, not a lot of the time. Those closest to me will joke with me and be like, I need your witchy powers, or, just comment on, sometimes I get told that I look like, oh shoot, I can't think of her name now, from Fleetwood Mac. So I have a few tunics and stuff that kind of do have that vibe, so I can see that. But I don't run around saying I'm a witch. In part, I think because so many people just don't understand what that means. They don't understand they don't understand that you do not have to let go of any formal religion beliefs that you may have from your upbringing. They don't recognize that it isn't devil worship, for lack of a better term. So I'm careful about the company I'm in if I refer to myself as that. And I will say that I had some people around me referring to me as witchy long before I was ever comfortable being called that. But I identify mostly with being a shamanic practitioner, in part because my practice is really focused more on connecting with nature and with the natural cycles of the earth, and not so much on spell work. And most of the rituals I do are more around that connection with the natural energy. So it's not something I go around calling myself all over. I do sometimes talk about my woo bucket. And that term has actually caught on in some circles that I'm in. And, when I talk about my woo bucket, I'm talking about the more esoteric beliefs and practices, when I'm thinking about the chakras or the koshas and auras and things like that. Things that your standard person on the street thinks is woo-woo. So I refer to that as my woo bucket. I have to apologize if you're hearing traffic. The noise control in our complex is less than good, and there's no way around it. It doesn't matter. We're on a pretty busy intersection. Whenever I choose to record, there's likely to be loud traffic, possibly sirens. And then, of course, add in the quarantine, and we've got Drew in the next room over having a Zoom call, so hopefully you can't hear that too clearly. But I decided it was time to just stop making excuses and start making videos. So the last question for today's video is question number 9. How do you use witchcraft in your day-to-day life? And this is another one of those that it kind of depends on your definition of witchcraft. For me, being fully present in all the things that I do, setting intentions and being mindful with my daily habits, and not trying to multitask them, not trying to brush my teeth while I run around and gather my clothes for the day, or, start water boiling for my coffee while I pop in the shower, or what have you, because I try to be present and in the moment, including those down times. That is part of my practice, because when I'm in those moments where most people would think you're just standing around waiting on something and, quote, wasting time, I'm putting my energy into those things that I'm working on, or putting that energy into myself, trying to clear myself of any energies that aren't mine to carry. Because as an empath, I do tend to attract that. And while I've gotten a little better at not taking on the energies around me, it's hard work. And sometimes I don't have the energy in me to not take it on. And I end up accidentally carrying something home that isn't mine. So it's in those ways that I bring witchcraft into my daily life. I also am, as I said for one of the earlier questions, I'm focusing on being more consistent on being present and mindful in those moments, and also being more consistent in practicing tarot. So I read cards almost every day. I know to some of you, every day is like the minimum, and you're consulting your cards, multiple times a day. That's not where I'm at in my practice. I can kind of see that may be on the horizon, but I'm also living with chronic pain and chronic conditions. So I have to practice giving myself grace and allowing myself to, take a break if I don't have it in me, or be okay with making modifications that suit where I'm at in this moment, pain level wise or energy wise, or even mood-wise, because when you're frequently having to adjust plans, or you've given up even making plans because you just can't plan that far in advance because of chronic conditions, depression and anxiety become very real companions for you. So with all of those things, my practice, my daily practice, is compassion for myself, allowing myself that grace to adjust and be fluid in what my expectations are of myself and also of those around me. In yoga, we talk a lot about how expectations are kind of what is at the root of your suffering. So by releasing those expectations, it's a little easier to be in the flow and just move with the energy and the activities and things that come. You can just kind of surrender and not resist and be okay, even if things aren't as you wish they would be. You're able to adapt and adjust. One of the big words right now since COVID-19, you're able to pivot. So that's kind of the big part of my daily practice. Some of you may not consider that craft, and that's okay. I don't consider myself a witch all the time, like we talked about, but I am definitely in that realm. I definitely fall under that pagan umbrella, especially with my shamanic work. So I also do try to do a shamanic journey every day. I call in the directions, and I'll be sharing how I do that in some future video. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, for being with me to the end of this video. I hope that you found some commonalities. Maybe you found some inspiration. If you have any inspirational words of wisdom to share with me, or if you're taking part in this 31 Days of Witchcraft, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below so that I can also connect with you and with your channel. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up and click subscribe so you can be here for the rest of these 31 Days of Witchcraft and perhaps beyond. Thank you so much. Until we meet again, be safe and be well. Namaste.